Good evening, I'm here.
Hi, Bill. How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. Just a busy day today. A good,
Yeah.
No kidding.
good
Me
busy
too.
day. Yeah, we're in the process of moving my wife's office to a new location, and it's always a bit of a scramble, but we're getting there. It's a black cherry seltzer, it's not beer.
I'm just checking it from a distance. It kind of looked suspicious.
It did. Figured I better clarify that.
I was going to head on over.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Did you bring enough for everybody?
Yeah, sharing
Yeah.
is caring.
I guess. At least I didn't have it in a brown paper bag or something. Well, I did send out the email and the one call announcement too. So,
I put it on the Facebook page.
oh, good. And I
Yeah,
know Mark had put it up on the website, so it's put it up a little late, but he got it up there anyway.
Well, we've got people steadily streaming in.
Good.
I think I just let 3 or 4 people in right in a row there. So
Oh,
we'll give
very good.
people a few minutes to get on
Yep.
before we get rolling.
Makes sense to me. I guess I'm going to go back on mute since it's your show tonight.
Oh no, you're gonna put me in the hot seat.
Sorry, I'm on mute.
Good evening for those that have just joined. We're going to give it a minute or two. I've got some people steadily logging in here. So we'll give it a couple of minutes and then we'll get started. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Glenn, if you could keep an eye on the waiting room and admit people as they pop in, I would appreciate that. Well, welcome everybody. This is our, I don't know, third or fourth public meeting for the Mount Air Community Water Project between between DelCo Water and Mount Air. And we're going to go over some stuff we've already hit, but we've also got some new information this evening that we want to make sure that we get out there. We're moving a little bit faster now. We've come to a point where we can start submitting things and getting things rolling towards the construction. First and foremost this evening, I really want to make sure that you all know that we truly appreciate you getting all of the paperwork in, getting us the easements that we need. All of that helped us to design the project. We needed to know who was participating, where we needed to put water lines. So getting that paperwork in was critical. And I want to thank all of you, and DelCo and Mount Air certainly thanks you for doing so. So some important project deadlines. There are no dates really set here, but some periods of month that we've got some important things happening. For November 2020, so where we are this month, the assessment letters have gone out, and we'll touch base. I think Laura's going to go over that in a little bit, in a few slides here. Those objections, if there are any, are due 28 days after the notice is received. So that'll be due this month. I believe they mailed out October 21st. So depending on when you got them, shortly thereafter, you got 28 days after that notice. The deadline to opt in or to state you're going to participate in the project and get your paperwork turned in is November 25th. We've got to have all of that paperwork in prior to going to bid. So prior to us publicizing the bid, we want to have everybody that is participating on the schedule. That helps with knowing where we need to put water lines and where we need to put meters. So that's critical for our bid publication. So the first part of December, we will be sending out the bid request. We're going to publicly bid for contractors to build the system. And we will also be submitting our EPA loan application. We've already done, as you know, earlier in the year, or you may not know, we submitted to the EPA for funding. We were awarded a nomination for loan. Now we are in the phase to submit our application. We needed our preliminary engineering report done for that. That's obviously done. So now we can get that application completed and submitted. Those will submit the same time as we issue the bid requests. Towards the end of December is when we expect our submittal deadline to be for those bids to come back in from contractors. It should give them about 25, 30 days to get their bids together, their proposals together, and get them back to DelCo Water, which means the first part of January, first couple of weeks of January, we will be reviewing those bid submissions and refining those, meeting with contractors, and hopefully selecting a contractor in January from those bids. Tentatively, February, March, construction will begin. That obviously is weather dependent. If we have a harsh winter, that's going to push that schedule out a little bit. But hopefully Mother Nature will be kind to us and allow us to get started early in the year so we can get you guys up and going on DelCo Water. One of the first things I want to hit is service line installation. As I just said, we're talking about hopefully starting our construction early on in 2021. So you are going to want to get your service lines out if you're putting in a new service line. Some of you may be reusing your existing service lines. What we recommend is a 1-inch iron pipe size SDR number 7 polyethylene pipe with a minimum rated working pressure of 200 psi, pounds per square inch. Copper pipe may also be used. The minimum cover over the top of the pipe should be 36 inches. Your contractor, your plumbing contractor will be aware of that and should take care of that and know to do that for you. And then when laying the service line in the ditch, try to avoid stretching of the pipe. We do have, and I will have this available. We'll have this available for you guys to review later. These are just some of the area contractors and plumbers lists. We don't necessarily recommend one over another. They're just ones that we're familiar with that have done work in the area with their contact information. I'm not going to leave this up here a whole bunch of time, but I will have it available for you after the meeting. Another thing that I want to hit pretty seriously tonight is if you are opting out of getting DelCo water, of having a meter installed and service into your home from DelCo water, there are some things that you need to know and make sure that you take care of. Once the Mount Air service lines go down, and those will go, it will go down progressively. So as our lines go in, as each line is completed and pressured up, we could be progressively shutting down Mount Air's Improvement Association lines. Properties that opt out of a meter and service from DelCo will need to have an alternate water source prior to that shutdown. Okay, so like a well is the most obvious alternate water source. And note that permits are required and wells must meet safe site requirements in regards to the EPA. Properties that opt out that are in Sharon Township will still be assessed for the project unless they're in the city of Columbus. If they're the city of Columbus and they opt out, they don't do a voluntary assessment, they won't get an assessment. But properties in Sharon Township will be assessed regardless of getting water service from DelCo water. Properties that opt out now and decide to connect at some future date for whatever reason, you know, your well goes bad or you just decide that you want to get DelCo water now, you're going to need to pay the following at the time of connection. So you'll have to pay whatever the current DelCo tap fee is. Today it's $54.10. Next year it may be $55.10, and so on. All of the accumulated surcharge amounts to date at the time of your connection. So any overage charges from the project costs that are applied as a surcharge that accrue towards that property will have to be paid up. And for City of Columbus properties, the full amount of assessment will be due for those properties when you want to connect. That will have to be worked out with the Mount Air Water District at that time. So currently we have submitted and received our EPA loan nomination. This week we submitted our design plans to the EPA. They're under review now. We are pending our loan application submittal, as I referred to earlier, and our loan agreement, which comes after the application and after the bid results. And once we have the contractor in, we have to submit that information to the EPA to get that loan agreement. And that's on track for February, March as well, when we intend to start the actual construction of the system. I am going to take a quick break and let Laura do some of the talking and have her talk to you about any assessment updates and a few other slides here after this.
Very good. Hopefully by now everybody's received their assessment letters. Those were sent out from our attorneys via certified mail that give the instruction about how, first of all, the estimated assessment amount, which is going to be equally shared amongst the homes that are part of the project and the ones that are in the district that are in the unincorporated area, regardless if they're tying into the system or not. So we took 1.2 million, which isn't the total amount of the project, but that was the amount we had agreed to assess and equally share that across the homes. It broke out to be about $16,000 per home. In order to formalize the assessment, the Mount Air Water District Board voted on a resolution of necessity last week that established the need for the project to go forward in order to support the neighborhood as well. And then in the letter, it gave instructions if somebody feels that the assessment amount is unfair for some reason, they would need to contact our attorney's office. It's in the letter where to contact. And should there be objections, then the district board will appoint a equalization board that will listen to the concern and make a recommendation to the water district board as to how to handle it. At dispute is not going to be whether or not a home is to be assessed, it is the amount. And in, prior to establishing the amount, we did have an appraiser look over the Mount Air community and determine about how much they assume the appreciation per home will be just by having the water lines available, whether a home connects or not, to ensure that we were within a safe amount. And at this point, they do believe that that is the case, so there should not be any issues. But should there be a concern, we will appoint the board and go through that process. It will not hold up the construction. It will not hold up the bids. It will not hold up any of the process that we're going through right now. So we are moving forward regardless, but the 28-day mark, I believe, takes us close to the end of November. And after that point, there will be no further hearing of objections. So that's all I had on that. We have, since the Mount Air Water District currently does not have any income, the income will come from the assessments, and the construction will be paid out of the EPA loan. The EPA loan is for what we believe will be the full amount of the project that exceeds the assessment amount of 1.2 million. So whatever that amount is that goes above the 1.2 we collect via assessment will be surcharged from DelCo on the water bill, also over a 30-year term, 0% interest. So we have, as we have had operating costs come up for the district in the meantime, we have borrowed funds from DelCo in order to pay for those. And we will be, that will be part of also what is surcharged to the district over a period of time. We have a process that we follow when we pay bills that requires 2 signers. We have, all the checks and balances in place. I did let the township know last week. We had one recent bill that I don't have a lot of detail on it yet, but it appears that there was some hacking of emails that diverted a payment, an attempted payment on one of the bills. And right now there's a police report out for it. We are trying to determine how much of the money is recoverable. It sounds like not all of it got to the wrong recipient, but we are working with our insurance, with the police department as well, to determine how much of that we are able to get back, how much might be covered by insurance. It was an intercept of legitimate emails that diverted the location of the payment. And unfortunately, one of those things that you read about in the news, I have never experienced this before at all. So it's a new venture to figure out what the bank does, what we do, what the insurance does, and go through the police system for that. So I don't have a lot to share just because there is an active investigation. It just happened last week or a few days before that. And as soon as I know more, I will make sure that our residents know what the status is, what we're going to do about it, and go forward. So that's all I have on that.
So let's take a quick break from us talking at you guys and take any questions about what we have thrown at you thus far. Does anyone have any questions? With no questions, and don't, we can hold, well, give several opportunities throughout for you guys to ask more questions. Just go ahead and unmute and ask your questions at that time. Here we have a new updated design for the water system. I'm going to let Dave talk through it just a little bit. Dave, are you there?
I am. This is very similar to the map that we showed a month ago. Some minor changes, and this is what we have submitted to the Ohio EPA. So we feel we have a pretty solid routing here based off of this, and so what you see is most likely what you're going to get. So soak it in. We're going to put this up on the website so you can look at it later. And just let you know, the hydrant placing is correct based off of the latest, so you can see where your fire hydrants are going to be. Line sizes are mostly correct. I can see at least one error, but it's minor. So it gets us a good spread on fire hydrant coverage and such. And while I'm talking about fire hydrants, just so you know, we have spoken with the Worthington Fire Department that serves your area, and we have decided on a style that works for both their connections and DelCo Water's use. So we have that all worked out. And then, like I told you in previous mentions, more fire hydrants can be added later in areas where you see 6-inch or larger diameter piping called out. So don't think like this is all you're ever going to have. It can be added later.
So we do have with the updated project design, with the minor changes that were made, we saw a decrease in the opinion of cost. Again, these are estimates. We won't know the true cost or a truer cost until we get the bid estimates in, and then of course the actual cost will come once the construction starts and those actual bills start coming in. But it dropped about $180,000 from our original opinion of cost for the system itself. It dropped down from like 158 to 136 or something of that nature. I can't remember what the original one was, but it was roughly $200,000 that it came down. So that was great news when we saw that come through. Hopefully we can sharpen the pencils even more, and when we get the bids in, we'll see an even lower cost. So with the updated cost, I did do an update for the project cost here. The overall total project cost with the ancillary costs to date, the engineering costs that we've incurred, the DelCo loans that have been made, some of the emergency repairs that the DelCo has done on the existing Mount Air system, that is at $212,000. With the updated $1.3 million distribution system cost, that to date brings an estimated total project cost of just over $1.5 million. We will get the assessment revenue is set at 1.2 million. So that project cost exceeding right now is just shy of $380,000. Using an estimated number of 75 participants that will be spread over that. I use that to get us a project cost surcharge. And the monthly, when the original estimate was $21, so it dropped $7 with that drop in the distribution system cost to $14 a month on your water bill. And then the tap fee surcharge. The tap fee is what the tap fee is. You won't see that go down. And that is still at the $15 monthly surcharge with your water bill. So I did a cost breakdown to kind of give you an idea of a monthly expense and an annual expense per household for surcharges. Your assessment at the 1.2 million at the $16,000 per improved lot is just over $44 a month. The surcharge, the excess project cost surcharge is just over $14 a month, as I just stated, and the tap fee surcharge is 15, bringing the total per month expense in addition to your water bill of being $73.52. Now, the $44 is paid, that is on your tax bill. That's not on your water bill. So you'll just see a $29, surcharge on top of your water bill each month. And then you'll pay that $44 or $215 a half with your tax bill each time you pay your tax bill. I also updated the kind of to give everyone an idea of the average water bill with the surcharges. Typical residents on our system of around 4 to 5 people, you're going to see probably a total bill with surcharges and water use of about $65, $66. There is a minimum bill that DelCo charges regardless of usage that does come with 1,500 gallons. So if we have some snowbirds in Mount Air, there will be a $12 minimum bill plus the surcharges each month that you're gone, even though there's no water usage. Pause there again for some questions. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you have any questions on the map or system cost, opinion of cost that we have.
This is Bill Ash. I think one of the big differences in the map from the last time, if I recall, is that stretch on the east part of Edgecliff, not east of 315, but the part that's just west of 315, that line was no longer necessary. So I know that probably dropped quite a bit of the cost.
You're correct, Bill. That is one of the changes.
Any other questions or concerns? I have no other slides to provide other than contact information. We can go back to the contractor slide if you would like, or just open it up for general questions.
This is Crystal. I live right on Edgecliff, right where that line stops, and I noticed it's saying 2 inches. Will that affect water flow at all?
Are you on the east side of Olentangy River Road?
Yes. Yeah. So right where that little like 2-inch, that's like right where my house is.
Yeah, you'll have plenty of flow there. You can run. We've had areas where we have 12, 15 houses on 2-inch line. That's not going to be a problem at all. And as far as pressure goes, everybody on the east side definitely, and even some on the west side, you're going to have reducers inside your meter pit because we're going to have higher pressure lines there as is. So, you know, you're going to have plenty of pressure. I would anticipate everybody's going to be happy with their pressure. Just to talk a little bit about pressure, your pressure is going to be between 40 and 90. That's what we have for everybody on our system. If you're on a reducer, it's adjustable. It can be as low as 55 and it can be opened up as high as 70. So it gives you kind of a nice mid-range there if you end up being on a pressure reducer. And the restrictor on your on the flow is your meter. A 5/8 inch residential meter does about a 15 to 20 gallon a minute max flow. So, and I'm telling you, it will do all that and then some. So, and that is what most residential houses on our water system have. So you ought to have plenty of pressure, plenty of flow.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave.
And
No
just for comparison, this is Bill. The current Mount Air system runs between 65 pounds and 90 pounds at the pump house. And so everybody that's uphill of the pump house is lower than that range because of gravity. Everybody that's down about the same level, their range is going to be between 65 and 90. So that just to give you a little comparison.
Yeah, everybody on the west side, especially up the hill as you get further away from Olentangy River Road, you're going to see definitely more pressure than what the current MAC system is providing, and most people appreciate that. So I'm going to chalk that up as a good thing.
And then Chris, would you mind explaining, going back to that slide and explaining where the extra $14 a month is coming from? I know part of it was like the some of the emergency repairs. What were the other factors in that?
It was the DelCo loans. Right now, to date, we have loaned the district $100,000 in operating costs and the engineering costs. The engineering costs were not in the distribution system cost estimate. That's where and then the assessment only covers $1.2 million of the total 1.5 or 1.5.
Right.
That is in excess. Currently, it may go down. We're hoping to see some really good bids come in. Currently, the excess is at just under 380,000.
And that cost estimate does include 120,000 for rock, which, we could be lucky and not have much rock, which would help. The other thing I just want to quickly clarify, the operating cost for the water district, by far the lion's share of that is legal cost. It's not free to do all of the legal work that's required to create the water district and to do the assessment process and everything that we've had to do to make sure that everything is done properly and legally. Well, one other quick comment too, as far as the emergency repairs, those will only be allocated to properties that are on the current Mount Air water system. People that connect to DelCo that are not on the current Mount Air water system won't have to be paying for our repairs.
Correct. This is just a generalization. You'll see these numbers change. Hopefully with a large part due to a better project cost estimate. But some of those, like Bill indicated, the emergency repairs go to the existing Mount Air customers and not new district customers. Do we have any further questions? I don't know if Glenn or Dan or Ivan want to have anything that they would like to share. They certainly don't need to, but we have an opportunity, we have time to do so.
Well, this is Glenn. I think just give people a little bit of their evening back. It's a good meeting. Things are going well. Did a good job bringing everybody up to speed on everything.
I'll just say ditto. This is Dan Barr with CT with the engineering firm. So just say hi to everybody, and we're excited to be working with everyone. So
thank you very much, Dan and Glenn. Well, we will give you some time in your evening back. I did throw the contact information up here. For those of you that haven't seen it before, we will have a copy of this meeting. The video from this meeting will be shared with Mount Air and they'll put it up on their website so you can review it again. That contractors list will be in there and we will have it available. If you want a hard copy of it, give one of us a shout and we will make sure that you get it. With no further questions, we can bring this meeting to a close.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Okay.